toes. I could keep the world balanced on my nose. I had a slumber party with all my foes. Now I wear them like a...
And welcome back again, everybody, to a new edition of the Project Webtoons podcast. Woo, we're on number 7 now. How you feeling out there, boys?
I'm surviving.
You surviving?
I haven't caught the corona yet.
And then all of a sudden, like a bottle just comes flying out of the room out of nowhere. Oh, no! That's it. He's done.
Gotta have the demonic master.
Yup, just the reflexes out of nowhere. How about you, Ark? How you doing?
You know how much I'm feeling right now. I hate you.
Uh-huh.
He's not dead yet.
Oh, it brings me so much joy to make sure every week. But hey, glad that you're not, because we've got some stuff to talk about, and I'm sure everyone out there wants to hear what we got to say on some of the latest chapters of everything that's popped off in these last 2 weeks. I'm talking new chapters of Demon Queen, of Demonic Master, of Solo Leveling, end season for Solo Leveling, Peerless Dad, and
we hit the season finale.
We got the season finale, and we just picked up a new one to add to the roster with Sweet Home. So there's a lot for us to cover up on this week, and I hope everyone's excited to get into it. So yeah, I'm just gonna start us off right on the get-go. Of course, I'm your host, Sleepies.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Seraph here.
And this is Arc Dragoon.
Again, the Dragoon. Oh man, I don't know about y'all, but this quarantine's got me kind of fucked up. Just a little bit.
I'm one of the essentials, so I still have to go.
No, you need a new computer.
No, I need a new computer.
Yes.
You gonna buy me a new computer?
No, you know
they're
that's not true.
expensive.
What was that?
I already put together your list. I'm not putting it together for you. You do that.
No, and my list isn't finished. That is an incomplete list.
Yeah.
You are terrible at this. Oh.
What's wrong with the computer? Anyways.
Yeah. Well, you know, things happened. Other things didn't occur, and we may be doing this again or not. I'm not sure. But yeah.
Cue the soundtrack.
Yeah. But you know, let's just go ahead and we'll dive into some discussions here right away. We'll start off at the top of the list with My Wife is a Demon Queen to begin us here. Yeah, we're finally out of the dungeon. That was definitely a big plus for us in these latest chapters. We made it out. We got a small reprieve chapter with the whole group and our main MC there, giving L his much due reward for taking him into the dungeon. We also got a pretty quick somber one-off chapter with a nice little cute moment between YB and our MC.
Wholesome moments. It was cute, to be honest. Like the way she described the Demon Kingdom, because we never really got to see the Demon Kingdom, you know.
No.
So far, like how the way she described it, how there's always just mist hovering over the sky, and there's always like death and destruction everywhere. She didn't say that, but that's what she was like hitting to pretty much, because like when she was talking to the MC, he was like, "Oh yeah, so you told me that the area is always so hostile. So if I go in there, it'd be dangerous for me." You know what I mean? Because like the way they do their
they live by a
royalty,
might make right kind of hierarchy.
Yeah, I punch real good, I become the king,
pretty much,
or queen. You know,
whoever hits the hardest is of course the leader.
So it was kind of nice to hear about a little bit about that for the Demon Kingdom.
Yeah.
Since again, we never really got to see it really.
Mm-mm.
So slowly opens up the world building in a sense to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At least a part of the world that we will probably eventually end up running to, because at some point, you know, they're going to have to take back the Demon King throne. So that'll eventually have to occur at some point. But I did want to touch a little bit on the item that they pulled out of the dungeon and what that kind of means to our group here, since this is what they've been searching for as the key to
bringing
for
back
YB's power, her true abilities. And we saw a quick demonstration of that with L and his hair, which he got himself a new do.
Can't forget about his wounds being healed completely.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big part in that too.
Oh, so very, very, very much. But not just to mention that, it seems to not only give away energy and not be able to take it, but give energy. It's also very easily to use without any real issue or problem.
I would not have expected it for it to be that easy. You just go, hey, can you please heal my friend here? And it heals my friend.
If all magical items were just that simple, just ask what you need done, and it works perfectly. No problems.
See, I would have been fine if they discovered it was like a magical pen, like...
Oh, it'd just be that on the point?
Yeah. Yeah, so they're like, oh, hey, look, this looks familiar. I bet you this can do this too, or something. Just give me something. It came with no instructions, no manual, and somehow he was like, apparently I just didn't blow up people using this thing.
I mean, so much of this has been pretty much ride by the seat kind of logic for almost everything that's worked. Our main character, I mean, literally can just draw from his imagination, and as long as he's close to what it is in real life, he essentially can make whatever he wants. I mean, we got that from just the fact that he built himself a freaking Gundam suit. Granted, he probably has no real knowledge of true engineering or anything like that, but still.
He just learned about it somehow.
Kind of. I mean,
a lot of it, like, most of the ways that you gotta, like, build this stuff, like, things he's built, he's had to learn the science behind it for it, Like with the nuclear bomb, he kind of knew.
Well, he kind of has
was about,
some understanding, but it's not like he has to have perfect logic of exactly the inner workings.
Yeah, he just has to have like somewhat understanding of how it's put together, how it's built, and how it works.
Yeah, there's nothing that will make me believe in the short description they gave that he completely understands the workings of just nuclear fission and just thermodynamic energy to completely build that and be like, yeah. It just works for me. But no. But after they got the weapon, or the item, and we got to see him build the new school / orphanage for the village. During that sweet moment at the end, we got to see some new people show up. Granted, we didn't see who they were, but they walked right in the dungeon and quickly made work of every one of the monsters that was in the dungeon, just completely decimated
and make
them.
Quick work of them, while our MC, YB, Eli, and Lil Homie, they all struggled against them. So like we know that they're dealing with some pretty big people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And one of the things they did, we did notice that they took is the stone from the lizard creature that they were fighting earlier. They took that one from him. So not sure if they're a part of the regent and his daughter, or if they're another faction,
a third party
faction from like the demon world or something. Since like they all looked humans, and we all saw how YB looked human as well. I mean,
they called the regent's daughter a spy. So
well, they did say that she was a spy, and they referred to, I believe they were talking about the regent's daughter. They said princess.
Yes.
So, I don't know if that's what made me think that they might be working with the regent, or if maybe they're working for someone else, other party that's working alongside the regent, but not entirely for the same reason. So, but yeah, it was
like
good.
Just a business partner.
More or less, yeah. That's basically what I'm getting to. They're just business partners, No real hate here when it's all business on the table. So, but yeah, now we have a third unknown faction that we have to worry about on top of the princess, who now wants to help our main characters, and also the regent that's trying to more or less overthrow. I don't think he's trying to overthrow the kingdom, but he's definitely trying to start a war to kill everyone that would, I guess, consider to be a threat to the kingdom.
It's so then he can rule.
More or less, maybe get to
over
closer
the kingdom, pretty much.
Get closer to being the true ruler over the kingdom. But yeah, so a whole new list of things come on there. I don't know if I'd say that this is too much true progression, maybe just a tiny bit of, with them actually showing this new group come in and take that crystal. This kind of pushes the story a little bit forward. But yeah, hopefully now that we're out of the dungeon, we'll get back to some more world traveling. We'll maybe see somebody else's village or head to another part of the world and see how they live. I kind of still want our main character to end up in the Dwarven Kingdom, since that's where his teacher went, and they gave him not only the Moonstone, but also a little bit of the random knowledge that seems to come from his world. So I kind of hope we hit there. I don't know if we will, but we'll see.
I would imagine if we hit the Dwarven Kingdom, we would probably see somebody from his world, considering the fact that they had like certain contraptions and stuff like that, Yeah. So like it'd be cool to see somebody else get isekai into that world.
Yeah. It would be nice to see someone on top of that to be there as well. Yeah, so a lot to take in from there. The last bit I definitely want to bring up though with you, Seraph, was those end panels of this of the wholesome moment between YB and Zhongyi, and then gets instantly interrupted with the like weakest cock block ever.
I was mad.
It's like 1 a.m. in the morning. Oh, I was looking for you. I don't like my hairstyle. Wait, what? Were you actually gonna wake me up if I was in bed to tell me that you didn't like your hair? Cut your own damn hair. What you want me to do about it?
Why you gotta cuck me like this, dog? Trying to get me the finally Cedo kiss.
No. Once again, we're back on that weird square peg of him having the always awkward moments between her at any time when they're together and alone. But yeah, so glad that we got furthered more in that story, and glad that this arc is finally done and we can move on to something else. But we'll keep it, we'll definitely come back to that and talk more, hopefully when we see the next chapters. But moving on forward, we'll keep it along there. Let's head into Descent of the Demonic Master. So, Ark, what'd you think with these recent few chapters?
I mean, being a military man, I actually quite enjoyed these chapters, and I don't know how accurate they are to Korean military. But besides that, it's fun seeing him being, the guy who doesn't try, but somehow he's, better than everyone else. And then, we get to the point where he's being bullied by the new, I guess, team captain or like the squad leader. Yeah. I mean, we all knew what was coming, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Is it perfectly fine?
I mean, it was tropey, but it was fine.
Okay, but let's
pretty comedic.
Yeah, it was still funny. Well, being a military person, did you have people in your squad like that? And I don't mean specifically the main character, but like the older recruits
who was trying to be hazy,
that were trying to be hazy,
like people all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was the one who stopped that shit.
Oh, you were you the anti-MC though?
Dude, I hated like hazing shit. I was like, what purpose does this serve? You're just gonna have this person continue hazing people, and then like from now on, like everyone's gonna hold some sort of like grudge against you. Period. Like why?
Well, they were trying to do it for some weird specific reason of, like, oh, we have to break their spirit down a little bit so that, they get on level with everybody else, or they it doesn't
that
kill
happens during boot camp, okay? During boot camp, that's when that happens. Anytime after that, it's like, okay, but why are you doing this? There's no point in like disrespecting me unless I absolutely deserve it.
Oh, well.
If I fucked up, you can let me know I fucked up. But if I did something right and somehow you tell me I still fucked up, I'm never going to care about doing things right then.
I'm going to do everything wrong just to make you look bad.
You have no idea how many times that happens. I'm like, okay, can we just do this right the first time? And then everyone's going to like fuck off anyways. And they'd be like, why did you guys do it wrong? Because you're going to yell at me for doing it right anyways. Why the fuck would I care?
Aw.
Exactly.
Their poor reverse psychology not working out the way they hoped it would. No. Well, some people try, but for the main character, it doesn't really matter. Do it right, do it wrong. He'll do it perfectly, and there's just not much you can say to it other than to get worn out. which is exactly what happened with the first taser. And him challenging him to clean perfectly and it turning into a spot finish, and then him trying to beat him by making him run 50 laps and the kid basically just keeling over from dehydration.
While Gang Jin-ho is just running next to him. Hey, up on your left! Whee!
Yep, just on your left again.
Man, I don't know how long those 50 laps were, but I feel like if it was just a run around the compound, that must be pretty small still. Like
20 laps is 6 kilometers, he said?
I think he said, yeah.
How far is 6 kilometers?
Well, time to do some investigation work over.
6 kilometers is 3.7 miles.
All right.
That is not that far. That's a little bit more than a PFT run. All right, that's whatever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's only half of what they did. So they ran altogether, what, almost 7 miles?
Still not that far.
I mean, yeah, well, we'll see
a little bit more than that, because there was supposed to be 20 laps. I mean,
it was supposed to be 50 laps.
So then, like,
a little over 7 miles. Yeah, just a bit over.
Yeah, about 9, 10.
Yeah,
about.
You know, give or take here or there. It's nothing. But
it's what One Punch Man runs, dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, he briskly walks that. But still, moving on there, after our first taser goes down, the second guy who comes in, he's not really hazing him per se to like teach him a lesson more than anything, or he's not doing it with a negative intent. He's not doing it with an ill intention. He's like actually trying to like at least get him to like understand his place a little better, and that everyone else won't feel so bad about it. But you know, he gives him the job of basically moving this mortar by himself, which they then in turn tell us, you know, hey, it takes 2 people to do this because it's like what, 10 tons or 7 tons?
7 tons.
7 tons.
Trying to jack it up.
And yeah, and he says like normally anybody could do this by themselves, but they get worn out after like the first couple of seconds. And he's like, this is what we just let those overly zealous recruits to try and do to prove the, you know, like, hey, they're not the hot shit. And of course, as always, the trope follows. He basically jacks the thing up so high that it almost breaks.
Yeah, it almost took it off the whole spindle.
And
like, it literally, like, if he kept going, dude, the Hauser would tip over.
And just be done. But it's okay. I'm sure he could just pick it up and put it back on.
I guarantee you he could fucking just strong arm that shit with one arm.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I did like in that little interaction that he was talking about is him having the exchange with the one sergeant about the howitzer's actual like specs, and like asking him the distance of the shots and the lethality of the shots and everything, and the realization of why he figures out there are no actual other martyrs, or why martial artists kind of went away, because the idea of, you know, one person being incredibly deadly and taking out, you know, 15, 20 people is, while it's impressive, they still gonna have to take a bit of time to do all that. Whereas, you know, you have this mortar, it can do the exact same amount of work in a matter of seconds. So, you know, and
because the power of guns.
Yes, the power of guns.
Pew pew.
And so far we haven't seen in this world that, you know, that entirely is something not to be feared. Because, I mean, even when Gang Jin-ho saw the guns for the first time pointed at him, he ducked behind a table. And even after that, when he, you know, tangled with the sniper, you know, he still dodged bullets. But the idea is like, hey, if you add in like maybe 2 to 3 more people with guns, he's probably going to have a little bit of a harder time. So
exactly,
you know, it's not lost on him entirely. But maybe after we see some of the other leaders show up and they display their power, we might see that change, because we saw the Red King show up and he had a gun pointed at him and he didn't even bat an eye. It didn't mean shit to him. So we'll see how that works out in future issues. But for right now, that was at least one good thing that I liked out of all of that. the story pretty much ended off on, of course, a more comedic note with both of the two hazers being completely worn down by Gang Joon-ho's just overall performance on everything, and they just decide to watch some TV to just cool off for the rest of the day. And lo and behold, it's a new idol on TV. Everyone's excited to see all of the guys, and Gang Joon-ho looks at the TV and just instantly goes, "Wait, what?
Hold up, wait a minute, I need to make a call."
and it turns out it's his sister. I like that he makes the phone call to his handler from the president first, and he's like, "Oh, you found out about your sister? Yeah, isn't she great? She's doing so well. She's getting ratings." And he's like, "Who in the fuck said that she should look like that and dance like this?" He's like, "Well," and he's like, "Well, the choreographer and the stylist would say that, you know." And then we find out like, oh shit, I approved all of this. What will I do if he finds out? And
he had the realization of, fuck.
We get
the meeting.
Yeah,
him and his sister.
Family visitation day at the base, and just the murder I intend at his sister, and I'm just like, wow, okay.
Dog, I'm surprised nobody else around the surrounding area can feel his aura.
I mean, well, no one else there really kind of has a real sense for it, but either way, it was funny to see him just go into brother mode to want to protect his sister's innocence about that, and yeah.
It was so adorable.
Oh yeah, just those small relaxing moments you get from the comic that just really bring things out together and make it all so nice. So, but no, it was a fun.
I like though.
Yeah,
to be honest, because like we get all this tension and all this extra bullshit going on, and we just get like stuff like that every so often. I'm just like, this makes me feel complete.
Oh yeah,
because then we always get the chance to like see family all the time. You know, like while most other ones like say Solo Leveling, we don't really get to see his mom or his sister like that.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, we've probably seen his sister more than we ever thought we would.
Very much so. Very much.
His sister, mom, dad, we got to see them more than we ever would in any other series. You know?
Oh yeah. Well, not just them, even his friends that we get to see a lot, and them having their own little side stories. Completely separate from him, really adds in a nice extra layer of that building that we don't get from a lot of other comics and webtoons. So it's just really, really nice and wholesome. But the one thing that did come up is that end panel where he asked about his friend and like why he didn't come and visit with them, and the family states, or his dad says that he called him to ask him if he wanted to come, and he declined the offer, but he said he sounded like he was in trouble or scared. So
at the end panel we see like a nun or a priest or whatever
I couldn't tell if it was someone praying, someone.
It looks like somebody's praying, because like the way the uniforms for like most priests and nuns go, that's how it would state, you know, with the white hood,
with the head drape and everything,
shirts,
yeah.
You know,
so I don't know if that's supposed to lead us to anything particular.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All I know is if Gang Joon-ho steps in the scene, he's gonna be committed many sins.
so many, so many. He might have to. Might be a huge penance for him to pay on that, but
he's gonna pull a Warrior No when he found out his kids
about his kids
and stepped up and was like, "Oh, you guys thought y'all could get away? No, it don't be like that."
Maybe we'll get Gang Joon-ho John Wick style. Ooh. So much gun fu. I'd love to see it in this, actually. That would be really, really interesting.
Gun fu,
gun fu all day. But yeah, these were nice, fun episodes. I'm still enjoying the military arc. It's been real fun. I like seeing this other part of the world for him and how he reacts to it. And not just to mention, this is kind of the first instance where we've had him interacting with other people that are, you know, directly conflicting him. And specifically, it's because of his overall perfectionist kind of nature, and how he takes that into himself and like, I need to train or be different, or I should, watch how I act or treat others, not just to myself, but how I present myself to everybody. So yeah, this is just a real continuing fun trend for the story. So hopefully it keeps up strong. I'm interested to see who this nun or priest or other person is, who this really is, and what's going on with his friend and how he's going to handle that, since I don't know if he can sneak off base. I don't. Ark, what's the punishment for sneaking off base?
I mean, it depends if you get caught. It's two different things.
Okay.
It ain't illegal.
I was gonna say, should I not ask anymore?
It's just not illegal to run away. It's just illegal to get caught. Two different things.
Exactly. I also want to add on to how we were talking about like a bunch of side story building, or for Jinho, learning about himself slowly brings out a lot of character development for the MC compared to what he was before to now, and he's learning about modern society and how everybody acts differently. And before, it's just all about brawling and fighting, and now it's just like, I really have to talk to these people and hang out with them? Damn!
I can't just kill my problems away.
Exactly. So he's we get a lot of character development for him, which I really like about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very much the reverse of most shonen-like stories when there's martial arts and punching involved, where you usually just, I solve all my problems by hitting hard. Well, now I have to talk all my problems away. I still can punch, but I save that as kind of my last resort. So,
yeah, exactly.
Very, very much so. But yeah, so hopefully that'll keep up strong. But let's keep moving on here, since I know we were talking about sisters, and one I was definitely big on for this week was our best of the big sisters over in Peerless Dad, with Seo Hyun now finally stepping up to the plate to show off her skills. And oh yeah, is she? Man,
did she step up, dog?
Step up. I don't even know if those boys were even anywhere near the plate to begin with. They made it to the field and it was done.
They're in that part's like a different school compared to the one that the kids normally go to, so it's already a lower tier school, right?
Yeah.
Technically
it's lower tier.
It's already it's a lower tiered school because it's not the one with the Dragonly Heaven school, whatever it is. This is like the on average school, or at least a little bit higher, more than
they might be. They might
right?
be like the middle. They might be like the middle class school, not quite the elites, but maybe just a little bit to them, but above like the regular common populace could get to. So. I mean, even still, you can easily make up those numbers, because when the other fight happened with the kids between the sons and the other Heavenly Dragon students, they all fought them one-on-one in a tournament style combat with a referee and everyone watching. The sister basically was in a straight up street brawl. She took on 4 people at once. There were no rules. She just stood up and went, "Take me on, you cowards. Just bring it on." And
run them hands.
Just run them hands straight up. She's just not even fighting. She's just dodging and deflecting around the entire arena against them. And when one of them just basically calls her, her version sense of the bad word, calls her a wench, and she's just like, "Nah, I ain't about that." And
we gonna run it.
And not even that, she flips that kid, and while he's in the air, she beats the shit out of the other 3 before he hits the ground. I'm just like, right there, like, out of all of them, she's definitely the best fighter out of all of the 3 kids, I would say. And granted,
she's the smartest and most level-headed.
This is true.
Yeah. That is very true.
She is definitely the smartest. I mean, she's the one teaching her dad how to write and read.
She takes over her mother more so than her dad.
This is true. This is very much true.
The sons take over the dad more so than the mother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even though she's never met her mom, she very much embodies, according to now, very much embodies all of the spirits and qualities of her mom. So, but she basically does play big sister to the one other Nana's son who showed up at the house in the previous issue, and she shows up and finds out that he's getting bullied at school, and this is kind of the reason he didn't want them to show up and hang out and play with him. So she corrected that problem and
really fast,
and basically invited him to come to their house more often, and that he should train with them because they're family. And she's been taking care his mom's been taking care of them since they were little. They don't see him as any separate as she does as her other two brothers. So it was a really nice wholesome chapter for that. Just the camaraderie between the kids, that they even though they have they're not like a super wealthy family, and their father is clearly sought after, and they themselves are almost like these prestige people that all of these other incredibly talented masters want, which is, I'm sure, just one master wanting you would probably just fucking air your head up so huge. But to have every master in the entire area want you as their pupil, I'm sure that would just make any kind of narcissist lose their shit. And for her to just like, nah, she doesn't even, it doesn't affect her. She doesn't care.
Bat an eye about it. She doesn't care. All she wants to do is go home, see dad, learn from old man, and continue her studies.
That's all she wants to do.
And speaking on the little kid and how she wanted them to join, I remember in one of the panels where she straight up said, even my dad asks why you aren't here to train with us.
Yeah.
Like that means that no one wants to train the kid. The little homie, to make him stronger, so that he can protect Nana too.
Yeah.
If it ever comes down to it.
More, having more potential guards around to protect when he's not there is always a good thing.
Exactly. So like I just find it cool how like Warrior No, even though it's not his own kid, he considers him to be like his kid, So that's like the small wholesome things, like tidbits like that, is what really warms my heart and gets me going.
Very, very much so. Very much so. But keeping up with that, not just speaking on the Masters, but the one thing we got was that Warrior Now is set up to be sent on a mission, a very odd mission, to say the least, that by his current captain, who he's trying to get rid of. And this news gets out to the other Masters, and pretty much every one of them is basically like, nah, fuck it, just leave him alone. He'll figure it out. Like, yeah,
everybody bats an eye to Warrior No.
Like, they all clearly can tell, like, this is obviously suspicious, but at the same time, nah, it's all right. We're not worried.
Who he is and what he's accomplished so far, that they're not worried about it. They don't really give a fuck.
Well, the one thing is that the swords master, the lady who is also working on the kids' current weapons for themselves, so they will be learning the broadsword, or at least one of the knives. She tells him that now is at least master level, even though he doesn't probably know it himself. He's very much has this the knowledgeable skill to be a master. But he just needs to go through a few steps of learning, controlling his energies and understanding that, and then he will fully awaken to that level. So she said,
and with the way he's been training so far,
yes, it seems like he's on the path to do it. Crazy. Yeah, he's slowly
he's actually starting to do it now because of the book, and like the way he's like slowly trying to understand his own martial arts that he's learned from being younger,
Yeah, very much. So it's starting to come out more and more. But the other thing there is that Nao's slight level of competence is also showing more in these later chapters, whereas before he seemed slightly more dim-witted on every situation. Now
he's just dim-witted at being a father, but like for being a thug, he kind of knows how to deal with it. I mean, that's basically how that works.
It's because he's technically kind of been a thug his whole life.
He's kind of been a thug. I mean, he was a mercenary.
He's been a thug and a mercenary his entire life, so he knows how to deal with that shit.
So he knows how to go around this entire fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing,
I mean, which is good. I mean, we normally don't see him in an element in which he's like, he has a grasp on the overall situation that's playing out in front of him. And he kind of makes plans, as they come up, which is still a good quality, but, we're not talking Batman here.
I know.
He's at least in an element, he's like, I understand how the underworld works. I understand, if I just beat up the bad guys and walk away, a new set of bad guys will come in and take over what they were doing before. I can't just leave it as it is. But his entire plan is doing this so he can get back his old captain and get rid of the current dude who works for the association that kind of runs the underground world. Just touching on that a little bit more and seeing him kind of work more to that element as he gets forward into it. Now, I know that we know of the mission. We don't know how dangerous the mission is yet, and we also don't know if this is going to be taking him away out of like the Providence again, and he'll be away from his kids for like a couple of days or maybe even a month. How this goes down. Do either of you have any speculation on that whole thing, or if this is just basically all a setup to try and get him killed?
No, I have no idea.
None.
It's either going to be tropey where they set it up where he's supposed to be killed and then he just kills all of them and he comes back and they're like, wait, you were supposed to be dead. Or I don't really know. I think that's the only way I can see it happening, and that's the obvious trope there, and it'd be perfectly fine. But otherwise, we have it where I don't think they would harm the kids because the kids are also apprentices.
Highly sought after.
Yeah, they're apprentices before the masters and stuff. So I don't think the kids would be touched at all, anyways.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that's definitely true. Well, we do know that now has drawn the attention of some of the outside, not just the underground factions, but some of the other associations out there from his because of some of the feats he did and what he's gone through. We know that in turn has brought some eyes to him that he may not want. He's also had a few more extra suitors. I cannot remember his name, but the one kid he saved from the little shitbag before, who wanted his basically to buy him as a retainer, and the two creepy twins that wanted the kids, specifically just the boys. We know that they're still out there. We know that he was very much adamant that it didn't matter how long it would take, he would eventually get now on his side one way or another. So the story could easily take a twist where he goes to the mission, it'd be a plan for that, but then one of these other things shows up and it's just like, hey, the situation's changed. We're either here to take you or we need your help to do something, and now you're gonna have to, work this whole new level of plan out that you weren't prepared for. And also, we still haven't seen more of him yet, but we also know that Uncle is still there around, training his fellow warriors as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he'll be taking him with him on this journey or whatnot either. But yeah, still a lot to speculate on these chapters. I never quite 100% sure how tropey we're going to follow in with the story, just because it's kind of a different meta situation on a lot of levels to handle here. It's not entirely the normal shonen tropes where the warrior or the character has to go out on a journey and do something and change and come back after all these things, but most of the story is just a guy trying to be a dad. And there's fighting, so yeah, so just so much to speculate on that, so much more to want. Any last remarks on that before we try and jump onto another one from that? Nope.
No, we covered everything.
Yeah, all right, good.
We covered all that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm not losing off on anything on there. I know there were quite a few chapters and don't want to miss anything if I get a chance. So we'll head over here to our next one with Inso's Law. Continuation after the incident with Yao Yang being manhandled by one of the upperclassmen who is trying to ask her out, and all of the Heavenly Kings stepping in to back her up.
We didn't get Shorty.
We didn't get Shorty. I think we got enough of them. I mean, 3 of them out of the whole group is enough. And granted,
they were all just trying to help her.
They were all trying to help her as a friend, not as love interest. Not as a love interest. She's a friend. And granted, because they did go to that extra level of that protection, with one of them just basically straight up going, let's just fight. Let's do this right now. I'll throw everything at you. But then the other dude going, hey, we don't fight in here. And then doing the whole shoulder, let me tell you about what they do in this part of town.
To punks like you. Dog, he went into so detail. He was like, we're going to rip out your eyeballs. We're going to play tennis with your eyeballs. And then we're going to slit your stomach open, rip out your guts, and play jump rope with your guts, homie.
I just don't know where all the violent viscera came for this.
Taking the I'm in your guts definition to a whole new level.
Yeah, a little bit. But...
And then homie was talking mad shit, going, oh, you guys gotta hang around all together. If y'all was alone, you wouldn't be able to handle me. And then homie just straights up, throws a whole chair.
Throws a chair.
And goes, boy, you think we can't handle ourselves? What do you mean? Come run them hands,
like,
boy.
I don't think you know who we are.
Come run them hands.
What my name is, Shawty. But yeah, so real quick to point out that they're not anybody that you can just run up on very easily, and they are not defenseless, even if they're by themselves. Yeah, after that whole little thing goes down, we get story move on. All of them basically go out, head to the karaoke bar, have a good night out. And it ends off with each one of them deciding to go to a fortune teller and get a little ticket to tell their fortune. And right away, Dan gets one that just straight up says, you will be hit by a car. And she just kind of stares at it. And I cannot remember Blondie's name.
Red hair.
Oh yeah, red hair basically goes, this is dumb. Let's just go home. We don't need to do that. And we're reminded that his mom died in a car accident, and that kind of hits him a little hard, so he's not really feeling that response. And before we can get too deep into those feelings, Dan instantly goes, hey, wait a minute, and realize, wait, that's a trope. Usually when a fortune teller gives you something, it's going to happen.
Exactly.
So she starts freaking out just a little bit because, she knows that everything in here is basically a living trope for her, so now she's just trying to avoid the idea of a car hitting her, or even the idea that she might get hit by a car and someone saves her, which can in turn lead to the idea of a new love interest making their way into their circle. But yeah, just a nice story all around with everything that went on. Oh yeah, the one thing with Homeboy who was accosting Euro Yang, that we find out that he's actually the leader of another gang in the school, and we're led to believe that
second years,
and we're also led that he leads back to possibly the gang member we saw earlier, who was the boy
at the beach,
the boy that accosted him at the beach. So
either they're rivals or they're friends.
Don't know.
We don't know. Two options.
It's probably.
I hope that they're rivals, and like delinquent from the beach steps up and is like, "Yo, you try to fight my girl? What's good?"
I feel like we're gonna have that very situation of him showing back up, or him catching one of them off guard and with a bunch of the other guys and just being like, "Oh, so y'all didn't think yet we can handle this?" And then that's when he shows up to save them. He's like, "Oh, I don't think you run this school. You're the second class little bitches around here. What are you talking about?
I don't think y'all want to run these hands."
There's so much hand running in this. It's crazy.
I mean, there's a lot of chapters that we've read so far where all they did was run hands.
There's a marathon of hands all over this place. But either way, I'm excited to see what that could be, or that could lead to, if possibly that is the trope that they may go with. And exactly how Dana is going to try and curve away from that trope as hard as she can to not roll into it.
I always love it when she tries to curve away from the tropes, and it's just like, yo.
No, that's not how that works.
Sorry to tell you, but it ain't gonna go the way you want.
She's not going along with the author's story in any way until she dies, and that's how it will be. Ark, for this one, I always like to ask your opinion on potential thoughts and ideas, what could come forward after the story, since I know this throws you through a loop.
Again, I have no idea how this is going to go. That's the whole point of this story. That's why I like it. It's not predictable.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Which is good. It's very good. It makes for an interesting bend every time. But
I'm more likely to predict the plot of a Deadpool comic than this.
Big facts.
Yeah, that's that's a little harder to. That's definitely hard to swallow for that. But okay, that's some high praise on all around there from you. But speaking of unpredictable plots and some crazy shit, let's actually move over to our new one with Sweet Home. For this one, since I know it's brand new, we haven't ever brought it up, I'll go ahead and give a quick rundown of the entire synopsis for this. But our main character, basically a shut-in otaku, is now living by himself in a new apartment building after he basically loses his family in an accident. He is just the definition of a mess. And I don't mean like, oh, he's sad, but like he is straight otaku, the exact word for it. And he's basically on the verge of wanting to kill himself. He's just completely depressed. He doesn't really care about anything. And they do a good job in the first couple of chapters not making you feel sorry for this dude at all. Like, anyway, but...
I mean, he's supposed to be rapey.
Is he supposed to be rapey? I said the main character.
I
said the main character. Dude, you are not on board with me. Come on. I was like, what?
Man, I am.
What?
It's been a long day.
Oh man, I was about to be like, I was like, I read almost 100 chapters, and I did not once think our main character was rapey. I was like, what?
It's understandable. It's almost 8:30.
It's a long fucking day. Okay, don't blame me. We got this right the first time. All right, blame that guy.
Yes, blame me for all the fun. But anyway, our main character is living in this apartment by himself, and after the first day there, you know, just normal days, blah blah blah, shit starts going down, and all of a sudden people start bleeding from the nose, passing out, and his neighbor shows up at his front door asking for help, saying she's hungry, and then she just
full-on monstrification,
just straight monster face in front of I mean, like the ring in front of the screen, and turns out the whole world, everyone's just turning into these horrifying monsters, and it's because they are hearing this voice in their head, and it's basically asking them of what their desires are, and it transforms them into these just creaturified versions of their desires, whatever they may be. One of the monsters is like a sprinter, so he just runs incredibly fast and can.
We got a muscle monster. Where
oh God,
protein!
Protein! I love it.
Was to work out, and he just turns into this buff, beefy monster, and all he says is protein.
I love protein. Oh, he's so good.
He's protein from now on, boys. He's protein.
The monster who's lost the top of his head and he can't hear, but he only has one ear, and he uses that to hear everything.
He can't see,
but he just freaks out at any noise that happens around him, no matter what it is.
I think one of the most interesting monstrifications I've seen so far has definitely got to be the fetus, because she lost her kid from a miscarriage, and all she wanted was to have a child.
Yes.
So then she ended up turning into a whole fetus. Yeah. In the bathroom. Whole fetus.
Just okay. But yeah, that's just a simple rundown. If you haven't read it, go read it for sure. Stop this podcast right now, read, come back, and then you can hear our thoughts on the latest chapters that happened so far. But I'm definitely going to say let's jump over into that one right now. The building's pretty much under siege. Well, after what happened with our homegirl who transformed into a fetus, suddenly transformed into an egg. And
turned into a real girl,
turned into a human person. We had some convicts show up, of course, as always, and basically try to take over the building, and lo and behold, one of the convicts is able to half control his monstrification, and of course the underlying spirit is because he has a split personality. So One of the sides of him is more of the monster. The other side of him is normal. And he torches the egg, which I don't know if the egg actually let out a scream. I'm pretty sure it did, but every monster, like within a couple of block radius, just comes bolting straight for the apartment. And they're breaking in. They're just like, did you kill the egg? And they're all just attacking or trying to get to where the egg was to kill anybody in the area. So yeah, after like 50, 60 chapters of them just trying to clear out the building in like 20 minutes, all that work is gone. The first floor is completely gone and screwed.
The first floor got overtaken. The bus near is gonna have to be overtaken. Yeah. Everything is about to be overtaken, and the only means of escape is by MacGyver.
Yep.
With the harpoon clothesline idea from 150 meters, from like 20 stories up into a fucking mountain.
Yep. To try
that is terrifying.
Hey, you're gonna have to zip line this down. It'll be safe, maybe. But also, and lo and behold, another military man saving the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. So pretty much everything that they've been working for on this is completely gone under. They've lost multiple people now. Pretty much almost everyone's hit a level of almost monstrification. There's only what now? The kids, Guitar Girl, and the detective, if I'm correct. They're the only ones that haven't like started showing signs, right? Everyone else is like bled from the nose at some point, as so far I've seen. Or and if they haven't, they're already dead. So
oh my one more.
Yeah. So we're pretty much at the last ditch efforts for what's going down. But yeah, now they're pretty much on the reins of trying to get out of the now overrunning building. The detective went out to try and lure all the monsters away, and he's the one that saw one of the eggs crack open, and it turned out to be this human girl and escaped. And then right after that, he makes it back and gets on the bus, and then one of the two of the convicts are basically like, fuck this place, it's done, we're just gonna get out of here. And he's basically like, the only way I can protect this building now is to try and block the entrance. But granted, I think that's kind of a dying cause to begin with. So he and the one big criminal square off, and and they're basically going at it again.
They're duking it out. They're going crazy. The detective manages to get the key to the bus.
Yes, he does.
Which I find is incredible.
I mean, it means this whole time, because we were kind of suspected that, when we found out that he was let go of the force for police brutality, and then the first time they fight, he kind of gets handled by this guy that you're led that, okay, so he can stand up to him, but at the end of the day, he's going to take him down at the end. He can't really hold him his own. And after he got the key and all of this went down and they found the container of human parts that
they were killing humans and chopping them up to make them as monster bait.
Yeah,
that's how they managed to get to that apartment complex.
They've been basically throwing it off. Yeah, they've been throwing it off and using it as food for the monsters to distract them so they could get away. And now the detective's got that look in his eye and he's like, I'm done now. Let's do this for real. He looks like he's just straight up gonna kill this kid. It's done.
I mean, in a world where absolutely nothing makes sense at this point, no laws are gonna be about anymore, I would have ended his whole career the second I saw him.
I mean, I'm not saying that.
What's to say that like they shouldn't have just killed him off right off the bat?
I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have saw them the moment they showed up and I went, nah, y'all look too shifty as hell. I would have instantly been like, just give me that sword real quick. Just give me that. I'm gonna take care of this. No.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Because like, if they managed to off them right off the bat, they would have found out that they had no means of food, no means of water, no means of anything. And then they would have had a whole bus they could have decked out compared to that car, the van that they decked out.
Yeah, plus
a whole prison bus that they could have decked out. making it so they could escape no problem.
Yep, everyone could have gone without having any problems. That would have made things way easier. But as
they
we
had
all
to
know,
hold it off and extra bullshit, all because they had a gun.
Yes, which they didn't really use very often or to a very great degree anyway.
Like, dog, throw fat bitch up in front of them, come up behind with a spear, you know.
Well, I'm glad that they were quick to give a reason why they weren't just killing or shooting everyone as often as possible, because it's like Glasses showed up and was like, yeah, I've noticed you haven't used that gun. How many bullets do you have left? Probably not a lot. Not enough to kill everyone here and be safe. So I'm glad that they have that dude that's real quick to point out some of the obvious things that anybody reading would see right away. Like, why isn't this there? It's like, oh, it's because clear logic would dictate you want to keep that advantage. Make them scared, but, don't make them a little bold that they may realize it all themselves. So, but yeah, the plan seems to be set. I don't feel the best idea that they're going to be leaving their MacGyver behind, since he's pretty much made all their weaponry, all their armors, has pretty much come up with all the ideas to either reinforce or even fix anything they may need. And
he fixed the entire elevator shaft. He fixed the electricity going on inside of there. Like, he's the essential. He fixed up this entire group.
He's the one that decked out the car in the first place. Which, honestly, if they had gone out there in just a regular car and Bro-Teen hit them, they would have been done. That would have been so done without all the reinforcement they had. I'm sure of that. So yeah, they're making this bold decision to leave him behind, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's a good accept. I'm not sure that plan works out well.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we got 2 of the convicts are dead. One's dead. One of them's is going through monstrification, and he's upstairs with 2 of the girls right now. And it ended off with our unknown
Female monster
showing up. So
the female monster.
The female monster. Not quite sure what it, or any of them are going to do.
Are they gonna try and square off with it? Are they gonna run?
Well, that's the question. I don't know if they're even gonna realize it's a monster until something happens, or if it may talk. I don't know. Anything could happen with one of these crazy monsters. I mean, most of the monsters can talk on their own. Granted, they only say a couple of words. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with that and what the plan is. I still don't know. I haven't seen what MC and Guitar Girl have been doing upstairs yet, because I know they knocked out our one half-breed, and I think they just left him in the room. So
no, he got pulled. He got dragged out by the flying monster.
That's right.
Yeah, he got dragged, so he's out there. He's getting off screen right now.
Oh, okay. Yep, you're right.
Hopefully he shows up again, because I actually kind of like the dude.
He's not a bad person.
He's not per se a bad guy.
No. Half of him is not a bad guy.
Yes.
The other half of him is a bad guy.
Half of him was like, I don't want to do any of this.
And the other half's like, nah, give in.
No, the other half is like, all right, cool. I get to kill whoever I want. Like, if it wasn't for the nice half, I feel like everybody on that bus would have died.
Probably. Granted, it seems that the one big dude was able to always calm him down. Because I don't think that I don't think there's any way that any of them could handle him in any shape or form. Like, just taking him on one-on-one. Exactly. So they just kept to that always calm him down moment kind of thing, bring him back to reality. Granted, it seems that he's able to do it with just a touch and a request, whereas our main character has to be physically hurt in order to come back, either punched or stabbed or electrocuted a little bit. But yeah, so that one has been a real fun read so far. If I could just stop reading it before I have to go to bed, it would be great, but nope.
It's scary.
It's a horror, but it's not scary.
Depending who you ask. So either way, it's still fun. It's been great. I hope anyone out there who has a chance and likes this, from the way that we're describing it, goes ahead and read it and let us know of your comments on it, everything in the below, where you're at, where you think of the characters. Hell, we could even get a running poll who we think should die or who might die next, because I hated when Grandpa caught the dust. He was so cool. Grandpa was just like an OG. Just, I'm ready to die, but I'm not trying to die.
Yeah, exactly. When Grandpa hit the dust, when the nice Christian man.
Oh, dude, man.
Bro, I was so mad they offed him like that, dog.
I knew he was gonna eventually go, but
dog. They could have had him in for some more chapters. Like, man,
I don't know what you're talking about. I saw death flags rise everywhere.
I mean, it's death flags rise for all those characters all the time. Like, so much death flags rise.
Yes.
I mean, the moment the MC, like, oh, I kind of have a crush on this girl, I was like, that's a death flag. Like, so hard that's a death flag. And she's almost caught it quite a bit. But yeah, so either way, we're going to keep up with that one. Hopefully that story will stay strong, and we'll see how the plan works out. Granted, I'm going to guess we're going to lose a few people, if not some of those kids. But either way, we'll see how that all works out and shakes up to it. Let's move on to our last one here, since we are getting late in here with time, but with Solo Leveling. I want to cut this off right then and there with that. End of the season, boys. We made it.
Season 1 of Solo Leveling, Jeju Island arc raid has been officially finished.
Officially closed. It is done. There are no more dinosaurs or ants. Everyone go home.
Dinosaurs?
Jeju Island and Jurassic Park kind of island.
Yeah,
everything.
Okay.
People live there, but it was a really stupid idea kind of thing, you know. Just...
Okay. How was the inhabitants of the island supposed to know?
You live in a world where portals and evil demon-like monsters show up all the time. They don't have a system in place to be checking things like this?
Not 5 years prior.
I'm just saying.
Not 4 or 5 years prior.
No one's prepared for the worst. But we
live in a society where that's already true.
Just because I live in a society doesn't mean my books have to constantly reflect how terrible it is. This is why we have fantasies. Come on.
True.
A better world inside these worlds. This is what this is. But anyway, we're off at Jeju Island. We've already mourned with the funeral and the loss of all of the hunters.
We got all the other.
Hunters.
Who died 5 years prior to it.
Yep, we got. After that, we had our chapter with the United States trying to offer our homeboy a deal to move to the United States and join their squad by having him meet up with this really particular special hunter who can basically level up other hunters, more or less increase their levels to make them stronger. And right away, we're given this very clear panel of her giving him a small demonstration, which of course the idea I'm guessing is give him a taste, then he'll want more. And after she starts to use her ability, instantly she's shown a darkened shadow realm and just a pair of eyes staring back at her like, the fuck are you doing here?
When you gaze into the abyss stares back.
Oh, just hope the abyss doesn't remember your name.
What was your name again, ma'am? You back here?
Oh, I see you. Yeah, so we're pretty much given the whole rundown that our homeboy does not have an actual limit to his level. He's just and she calls him the king. Granted, he has not earned that title that we've seen, but this definitely gives rise to exactly what we'll see going forward in his power, at least power structure, or how he attains more and more strength overall. So with that, which I know I brought this up in a previous discussion with Ark, with like what they would offer him, and this being one of the things that, you know, they would want to see to offer him, and he clearly was interested to take the bait. But really quickly, it didn't seem to work on him. So now that, you know, granted, I don't think they informed him that his power level was infinite, since now we know that he is now this just forever ending power source. What do we see going forward into these coming seasons now, especially with the introduction not only of now all the national hunters, including Thomas Anderson, these two these two unknown looking like monarchs of their own right, both one of the elf kingdom as well as one of the beast, showing up out of a portal completely out of nowhere, and the ability to themselves create portals, it seems. How do you think that's going to fare in the coming season going forward? Are we actually going to have like a true power scale to our main character, who's just seemingly been completely dominant in everything he's had to go up against so far?
As of with all that going on, I'm pretty sure, because these dudes opened up whole dimensions. Like, if that doesn't scream, I'm pretty damn strong, I don't know what it is.
I mean, so far we've seen nothing else do it, so that at least gives us rise to that. We still haven't seen any more of Dad. We know he's rolling around somewhere.
He's being a whole deadbeat.
Yeah.
He shows up from another dimension, doesn't even go see his wife, doesn't go see his son, doesn't go see his daughter. He just bodies somebody and leaves. He bodies him off screen
and leaves. Just to show you how badass he is about this. But yes.
Respect on Hwang Dong-soo for off screen of like that, dog. I mean, he deserved it.
True. He very much did. He very, very much did.
I wanted to see what Dad was about.
There's a lot of fights that I'd like to see sometimes when they're about. But yeah, Ark, how about you? I know that this has been one thing that's always gripped you with this kind of story and these kind of characters, is that, you know, that creep, or that slowly getting to that Dragon Ball territory where it's like power levels don't mean crap. There is no limit to whatever, and you just kind of make up whatever you like.
We'll just leave that for the end of the discussion one that we'll have later for that.
Okay, I mean, that's perfectly fine.
I'm not going to pull out my entire gripes here because that will take some time. And
we don't have enough time to cover all your gripes.
Because what we hit already, like 50 minutes, 59?
I'm at a minute and I'm at an hour 7, but we started a couple shorts, so we're getting there. So it's all good. But you know, I just want to make sure everyone can get their 2 cents on how all of this worked out. Yeah. So I liked the end of the arc to everything. We at least are set up with a nice, good going forward into season 2. We have new strong opponents we can look forward to. We know that there are other just regular hunters out there that could possibly take on Sung Jin. We know that he doesn't have a limit, so his power is going to increase and can take him to a whole new place. So hopefully the artist is ready to draw all of this crazy shit that I'm looking forward to seeing.
All the sick fight scenes, the sick character designs, because so far everybody's character design was pretty tight.
Yeah.
Especially when it came to like the shadows, like Beru and fucking Igris, Tank, Iron, Tusk's character design because like they went into detail with like the necklaces and everything.
More and more.
Like I'm so excited to see more of like the Ice Elf Monarch that we saw and the Beast Monarch, because their character designs are pretty tight too. Yeah,
very much so. And I am looking forward to some of the other shadows gaining levels and getting general class, so we can hear them talk and figure their thoughts on situations.
Hearing Igris talk would be so fucking tight. Oh my god, what would I give for that, man?
It'll be good.
I will give the artist my heart right now. I'll rip this bitch out. Be like, here you go. Just make my dude talk.
Just make him. But yeah. So enough to look forward to with that. Good close to the end of the season. A whole lot to look forward to, and all of the other hunters that we still know are alive and probably will play backup, since I'm sure season 2 will start with him dealing with building his association right now, since that is where we left him off on his own guild, and looking for the top of the top. I definitely probably see him sniping a few people. You think
baby
girl is gonna? Yeah, she may jump over and join him up. I could
If she
probably
don't, I'm gonna be mad. If she don't,
Why would you be mad?
It's just him. He just wants this. He wants this ship so bad.
I just want the ship.
He wants this ship so bad.
Even though Sun Jin-woo is so overpowered that he doesn't need her, he still needs a love life, my guys. Listen, you can't be a ruler without a queen.
Oh boy.
Listen. Ark is just shaking his head over there like, you could definitely be a ruler without a queen.
Difference of opinions all around, but either way.
Who do you think he should be with then?
I mean, he could be with anybody. Why doesn't he go pick up a vampire girl? Get her out of a dungeon.
Demon girl, thank you very much.
I'm sorry. Go get her.
I wish.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and close it out on that one. We hit everything. If you didn't notice, yes, we did not talk about Legendary, and that's because there was no new chapter. We are still on hiatus, and not because of the current issue going on. They went into hiatus prior to that, so hopefully we'll see them pick back up at some point here. I know there was an issue with them getting a new artist. I don't know.
New translator and
and some
going on. There's like some drama going on between the studio for Legendary right now.
Hopefully that gets resolved soon and we can get back into those regular chapters. I would like them not to just drop middle of the beginning of their season. They're not even like they're not even like 20 chapters in yet, and they're having these issues. So hopefully that gets resolved and we can pick that back up.
It's the legend of the hiatus x hiatus again.
Oh, shut up. God damn it.
Yikes.
All right. Well, we'll
better than Berserk be on a boat for like what? A decade?
A decade?
So
dude. Well, anyway, we can go ahead and close this episode out for everything since we basically covered all of that. But you know what time is? Seraph, let's give us our closing remarks.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in to the Project WEBTOON podcast. We will be dropping our links to Discord, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all down below. If you guys really enjoyed our content, make sure to leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. It would warm our hearts. And if you guys really want to, you guys could share this with your other Webtoon readers, or just show people who don't read Webtoons so they know what Webtoons are all about. And also, we'll also try and make our way over toward Apple Play, Spotify, so you guys can listen to us on there as well.
Yes, where I'm slowly working on that. I have our account set up. I just need to start retranslating stuff since we're all in video and I need to just pull the audio. So but we should be there soon. But either way, I'll go ahead and take us down for the last time. I am, of course, your boy the Sleepy.
It's your boy Seraph here.
And this is Arc Dragoon out.
Hey, everyone stay safe out there and take it easy.
Peace.
We put in practice and discipline, no giving up, no giving in. We're match fit, we're here to win. For those who don't know, better fill them in information.